Hi again. So, as you can see, I picked a bold color for my binding. There is orange in the quilt. I picked it because I wanted it to stand out more. I mean, you can pick whatever color you like. There's blue in here. There's a little bit of yellow, pale yellow. You could even pick white or the green to make that stand out. But I had the orange, and I thought it would go nicely with the orange stripes, and it would stand out as my binding. So, it's up to you. Everybody has their own preferences, but pick the color that you like and that is going to stand out. Okay, so I am going to show you, I'm on my last mitered corner. I sewed everything else on, and I have one more to go. So here we are. I left a 1/4 of an inch at the corner so that I can turn this up and make a corner. Might take out one more stitch because it's just not quite enough to work with. Okay, so I pushed the material up to make a square, and there's a flap. Okay, and then I'm going to pin it on this side, and then I'm going to pin it over here like that so it holds. And actually, I feel like I need to move it over a little bit. All right, let's do that again. Okay, so you have a nice square corner. And you want to make sure your back, this is flat so that it's not being bunched up when you put it through the feed on your sewing machine. And I'm going to put a couple more pins further down so that I can continue to sew until I want to leave a gap where my pieces meet. So I have quite a bit of material left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it over to my starting point where I started, and I'm going to leave. So here's my starting point. I'm going to pin it over top of it a little bit. You can leave some room so you have extra material to work with, because we're going to cut more of that off. But so I don't have so much material hanging down, because I have a good bit, I'm going to cut it off there after I pin it over a little ways. So there's my overlap, but we're going to make that shorter anyway. Maybe I'll just sew this first, and then I'll show you how to attach the ends again. Okay, so I'm going to back stitch at the top, and then sewing a 1/4 of an inch in. Okay, so we're going to stop there at the pin right here. And that way we have a little bit of room to work when we're doing the binding and attaching the two ends. Okay, I'm going to take out my pins here. And there's your mitered corner. When you fold it over on the back to sew it down, it's going to look like a miter. Like when you miter wood for a corner piece. So, okay. I want to show you this. I'll throw our quilt up this way. The last time I threw it up on my table, I had it a a little backwards, and so it was a little harder to see what I was doing. So I'm used to doing it, so I'm not used to videotaping it. That's what I'm not used to. All right, so we have our material that I left and our opening. You want to leave a nice opening. I'm going to measure this. This opening is 12 3/4, so it's a little more than usual. I usually leave about 8 to 10 inches, but that's fine. Just so you have some room to work. I'm going to make sure your quilt's nice and flat here. But the last time I did this, I also sewed it incorrectly, and I had to re-sew it to show you. But what we want to do is put your bottom piece down, and that bottom piece is not even, so I forgot to cut it off when I was ironing it. I'm going to take a little bit off with my rotary cutter and make that even. Okay. And what we're trying to do is, actually, I could take a little more off, because what I want to do is have it halfway. I want it to meet halfway to the middle. So our opening is almost 14. So about halfway would be 7. So I'm going to cut it off at 7 inches. Careful you don't cut into your quilt. Okay, so we have it halfway. I'm going to just pin it there so it doesn't move. Okay, then what we want to do is take our top piece and measure over from the bottom piece. We're going to measure over 2.5 inches, because our binding is 2.5 inches wide. So that's the amount of space we want to have leeway to work with on the overlap. We want the overlap to be 2.5 inches, okay? So then we're going to take our pencil and mark it at the 2.5 inch mark. Over a little further. Okay, so that's where we're going to do the cutting. So if you want to double check it, take your ruler and double check it. Just so you're not, cutting it too short. You want to make it at least 2.5 inches. You could do 1/8 of an inch more if you like, but that's where I usually have it. Okay, I'm going to move this stuff over, and now what we want to do is open up this piece, and we're going to lay the right side face up. And what we're going to do is we're going to twist this to the, we're going to twist this downward, okay? Make a twist. We're going to twist it downward like this till you have the opening on top. And then we're going to pull our fabric a little bit in so that we can meet our two ends. And we're going to pin it just like we did for the binding when we were sewing the binding strips together. Okay, make sure it's even, and then you can pin the corners like you did with your binding strips. Make sure the sides and corners all meet evenly. And then just pull your fabric in a little bit so that you have some room to work. Because what you want it to do is to meet up. I was going to bring some tape up here to tape it to actually show you, and then I forgot to do that. But when you are done with it, it's going to twist in and should, you know what? I did something wrong. I don't think that's going to work. Okay, let me see this again. See, I don't do this often enough, and then when I go to do it, then I question myself. Okay, that's why I wanted to bring the tape up, to show you. Let me go get the tape. I'm at 10 minutes, and I'm going to try it that way. Okay.